Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles, and yes, that is Star Citizen, and yes, it has been a very, very long time since I took a look at this. I'll let you in on a little secret. Actually, I'll let you in on two little secrets. I have spent $1,475 backing Star Citizen. Yeah, that is a lot of money. And that's small change compared to the amount of money that some people have put into Star Citizen and are still putting into Star Citizen. 5 years after the initial crowdfunding campaign was announced. Initially, the amount of money they were looking for to get this game made was $500,000, $500,000. They achieved that goal, and they achieved that goal quite easily because of, well, two main things. One, Chris Roberts. The legendary designer of the Wing Commander series of games, amongst others. And also, well, it's been a long time since the PC had a really good space sim. The space sims are what the PC used to be known for, back in the day when Chris Roberts was working for Origin and developing games like Wing Commander, for example, and Starlancer and Freelancer and, stuff like that. So the fact that Chris Roberts was back behind the wheel of another epic space sim for the PC got a lot of people, myself included, very, very excited. And a lot of people, myself included, said, shut up and take my money. And there's absolutely nothing whatsoever wrong with that. I don't regret the money that I've put in to Star Citizen. Well, maybe I do just a little bit, because I'm probably not going to like, based on what I've seen of the game so far and the direction that it's going in, I'm probably not going to like the game that Star Citizen becomes, or the games that Star Citizen becomes, because there's, well, the single-player story campaign known as Squadron 42, and then there's Star Citizen, a massive, sprawling, immersive space galaxy simulator. And purely and simply because, having messed around with the starships, I really don't like the way the space combat works. It's far too complicated for me. It makes Elite look trivial. I don't like the mouse and keyboard controls, and it's been so long since I used the joystick that I just can't get to grips with the joystick controls either. But that's me. This is a personal perspective. A lot of people out there are very, very passionate about the game. They absolutely love what's been delivered so far. The first-person shooter side of it is... Well, I think I might just be getting a bit too old. It seems quite competent, but it's one of those games where unless you're a 13-year-old coffee addict or a rattlesnake on crack, you just get insta-jibbed every time you round a corner. So yeah, I'm terrible at it. Doesn't mean it's bad, it just means I'm bad at it. But what it also does mean is that I very strongly suspect that I'm probably not going to like the game that I've put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars into. Don't regret that, however, because I do think that this is a game that needs to get made. I just wish they'd hurry up and make it. It's been 5 years now, and it's still in alpha. The game was supposed to be released in 2014, but they had such massive success with the crowdfunding and the Kickstarter that they started adding more and more and more features, and the project got more and more ambitious, and so obviously release was delayed until 2015. And the power creep continued, and the feature creep continued, and it got delayed to 2016. Now they just no longer have a release date. They've given up saying when the game is going to be released. And that does kind of make sense from one perspective, because Star Citizen is not going to be released like a regular game. Squadron 42, the single-player campaign, is likely to come in episodes, so I'm not entirely sure. Those of us who've already spent a lot of money on this game, I'm not quite sure what we're going to get for our money. Whether the first episode's going to be free, for example. Well, not free. At the moment, the first episode's cost me $1,475, and they will have to pay for subsequent episodes. Haven't got a clue. I suspect, I wouldn't be at all surprised if this was actually going to be the case. And I'll tell you why. Because the reason that I'm going on about Star Citizen in this episode of Mingles with Jingles is because they've been in the news lately. They've taken out a loan. Now, this in and of itself isn't surprising at all. Businesses take out loans all the time. It doesn't mean they've run out of money. What is slightly unusual, well actually very unusual about the loan, is what they've offered up as collateral for this loan. And this is the too long didn't read version, so save your actually Jingles for the recycle bin. I realise it's more complicated than you're going to hear in an episode of Mingles with Jingles. But they've pulled out a loan to cover an advance on a tax rebate. There's a tax rebate that they earn every month, but they only actually get it paid once a year. So in lieu of this tax rebate coming at the end of the financial year, they've taken a loan as an advance on that tax rebate. It's actually pretty simple and straightforward. But what they've offered as collateral for that loan is the game. And because they basically don't have any other assets. Now, when I say the game, I don't mean Star Citizen, because the loan's been taken out by Foundry 42, which is the British-based company, part of Cloud Imperium Games, that's developing Squadron 42, the single-player campaign. So, in the extremely unlikely event that Cloud Imperium Games or Foundry 42 default on the loan, the merchant bank Coots will own Squadron 42. And this is what's caused everybody to lose their minds, and rampant speculation has spread across the internet. Star Citizen is doomed. The bank now owns the game, and so on and so on and so on. It doesn't. But the whole issue has provoked a lot of speculation about the finances of Cloud Imperium Games. Now, I need to make it absolutely clear right at the start. Nobody but Cloud Imperium Games has any real idea of what their financial situation is like. So I'm not even going to waste time speculating. What I do want to talk about, however, is... how can I put this? Okay, we're all aware at this point that Star Citizen has raised over $150 million in crowdfunding and is very, very close to becoming the biggest crowdfunded game ever. Well, I say crowdfunded game because that's the other thing that we're all very aware of at this point. There isn't a game. There's a bunch of alpha tech demos, and they're reasonably well polished alpha tech demos, but they're definitely not a game. The hangar module, for example, was the very, very first piece of tech that Cloud Imperium Games released, something like 4.5, 5 years ago. And I'm still falling out of my ship. Alright, you know, there we go, bang. I just fell through the deck of my ship. Yeah, okay, it's alpha, but it's still alpha. This is 5 years down the line, and crap like this is still happening. And that's not all. Check this out. Oi! Who the hell are you? Who let you on my ship? He just let himself on my ship. It's parked here on the landing bay. Any man and their dog can climb on board, and any man and their dog can sit in the pilot's seat and fly my ship off, whether I want them to or not. Surely not, Jingles. Actually, yes. Here I am in my M50 Interceptor just flying around the station, and that, out there, at a distance of 174,000 kilometres, had somebody taken my Retaliator for a joyride. Now, I haven't actually lost anything here. I need to make this absolutely clear. That's not a very, very expensive ship that I paid real money for that somebody's just taken from me. I mean, I haven't lost anything permanently, but the fact that this is the most mature technology in Star Citizen, the hangar module and the flight module, although obviously a heck of a lot more advanced than it was when it was first shown to the public, but it is the most mature technology available in Star Citizen, and I'm still falling through the deck of my ship and complete strangers are just climbing on board and stealing ships from me. So that's kind of amusing, but even that isn't really what I wanted to talk about. It's not that this game's been in development 5 years and it's had so much feature creep that it's still just an extended alpha tech demo. I don't have a problem with that, because it is a vastly ambitious project, and you can't really look at Star Citizen and expect to have a release date in the way that normal games would have, because it is such a massively ambitious project. Possibly too ambitious, but, well, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. It's not the fact that they've taken out a loan and offered up Squadron 42, the single-player campaign, as collateral. I mean, that's unusual, but it's certainly nothing to panic about. What concerns me about Star Citizen is how are they going to make any money out of it? What are you talking about, Jingles? I mean, just look at the number of people that have crowdfunded this game. There must be something like 1 million people have already put their money where their mouth is to support this game. Well, yeah, that's exactly the point. You see, that $150 million that they've raised through crowdfunding, that's a debt liability. That's money that they owe to the backers. And what they've promised the backers in exchange for all of that money is the game, Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So, even if everything was ready tomorrow, let's just imagine you finish watching this episode of Mingles with Jingles and the next thing that you see online is an announcement. Star Citizen and Squadron 42 complete. Feature complete, ready to go, persistent universe, servers are up and running, start playing your game. How are they going to make any money out of it? Because at this point, surely everybody who wants to play Star Citizen has already put money into it. So they're not going to be buying the game when it comes out because Cloud Imperium Games owes them that game for the money that they've already put into it. This isn't going to be like Star Wars Battlefront, for example, or, insert the title of the latest Electronic Arts ridiculously overpriced massive budget extravaganza here, where the game gets released after months and months of hype and extended beta tests and so on, and Electronic Arts posts sales of $15 million in the first week. That is not going to happen with Star Citizen. The overwhelming majority of people who are going to be playing Star Citizen are owed this game by the developers. No more money is going to change hands. If you have a look at the market, if you like, for a space simulator, if you look at something like Elite Dangerous. Now, Elite Dangerous is a lot less ambitious than Star Citizen. It's good at what it does, but it doesn't actually do a heck of a lot other than flying around and exploring, and it's very, very good at that, but that's more or less all that there is in Elite Dangerous. Now, Star Citizen offers a heck of a lot more than that. But Elite Dangerous is doing reasonably well with around 1 million players. That's more or less the size of the market for this kind of game. And it's been estimated that around 1 million players, well, not players because they don't have a game to play yet, but around 1 million backers have already put money into Star Citizen. So who else is out there that's going to put fresh money into it when it's released and available for purchase? How are they going to make any money? People are going to be a lot less inclined to hand over the credit card and buy a ship for real money when you can just play the game and earn in-game currency to buy the ship the old-fashioned way. I mean, it may still happen, but it's going to happen a lot less once the game is up and running, so that's a revenue stream that's going to rapidly dry up. I can see them relying very, very heavily on premium versions of existing ships that are just like the ones that you get in-game, but a little bit better. But they're going to have to be very careful about how they do that. At the moment, you can buy a Constellation Aquila, which is a very, very big ship, for $330. Now, let's say the game goes live and they start offering premium versions of these ships for real money. Nobody's going to pay $330 for a ship that they can buy using in-game currency just by playing the game for a week. So, are they going to drop the price to something like the equivalent cost of, say, a Tier 8 premium ship or tank in World of Tanks or World of Warships? £50 to £60? But what about all the people who have paid $330 for it? How are they going to react to that? They're going to have to microtransaction the shit out of this game in order to be able to afford to keep the servers running once the game goes live, because I just can't see there being enough people out there who want to play Star Citizen and haven't already put money into it for them to make any kind of money using traditional methods like, buying the game when it goes live. I suspect that Star Citizen may end up being the most ambitious, sprawling, complex, and microtransactioned game in history. Because I really don't see any other way of keeping it viable. Anyway, I'm sure that's provoked a lot of heated opinion. Let's see what you think in the comments down below. And that's quite enough about Star Citizen for 1 week. Oh, while we're on the subject of ridiculously overpriced Electronic Arts spectaculars, Call of Duty World War II. You can already pre-order it on Steam and obviously on the Call of Duty website. £80 for the digital deluxe version. What exactly do you get in the digital deluxe version? Well, you get the game, obviously. You also get additional bonus content, which hasn't actually been specified yet, but is going to be some weapon unlocks and skins for multiplayer and blah blah, yada yada, so on and so on. And you get the Season Pass. So what exactly does the Season Pass entitle you to? Well, nobody's really sure yet. If you look at another Electronic Arts product, Star Wars Battlefront, for example, the Season Pass for that costs you £25, and with that you get 4 expansions. Now, the difference in price between Call of Duty World War II, it's not actually being released until November, by the way, and you can already pre-purchase it. But the difference in price between the digital deluxe version at £80 and the digital standard edition at £45, that's £35. So, it's a £35 difference. But it's only £25 for the Season Pass for Star Wars Battlefront, and with that you get 4 expansions. So they're probably going to be adopting a similar pricing policy for Call of Duty World War II. You've got the game. £10 covers the cost of the additional bonus content, which is probably going to be multiplayer only, and I'll never touch. And then the Season Pass covering an undisclosed number of expansions and DLC that's going to be coming after release. But if you have a look at the gameplay trailer and the various different screenshots on the Steam page, what it looks like you're getting with the initial release of the game, what it looks like you're getting is an American campaign from D-Day up to the Siegfried Line and the battles in the Hürtgen Forest. So that seems a bit rich, considering it's calling itself Call of Duty World War II, and all you're getting is 2 American campaigns. Nothing in the Pacific, no Eastern Front, no North Africa, no Mediterranean, no Greece, no Crete, no Balkans campaign, just D-Day and the Hürtgen Forest. Which, hang on, haven't we had before? Wasn't that the original Call of Duty, Allied Assault? And wasn't that the 2006 expansion for Call of Duty, United Offensive, with the battles in the Hürtgen Forest? Ah, yes, Jingles, but this is all new, updated, remastered 2017 flashy next-generation graphics versions of 10-plus-year-old games. And you will have the option of buying a Pacific campaign and a North African campaign and an Eastern Front campaign and possibly a Mediterranean campaign as well as downloadable content in the future when they keep milking this cow for all that it's worth. And yes, we have already had all of those extra campaigns in previous editions of Call of Duty, but not with flashy next generation 2017 graphics. Electronic Arts milking the cow, doing what they do best. And I'll probably buy it and I'll hate myself for it, and I'll probably have fun playing the single player campaigns and just not touch the multiplayer because I'm old and crap and really, really bad at it. Electronic Arts don't ever change. And yet, you know, we've got nobody to blame but ourselves. We keep buying their games, ridiculously overpriced though they may be. We keep buying their season passes, we keep buying their downloadable content, and we just keep encouraging them to keep fleecing us for every penny that they can possibly milk out of us. And, you know, it's funny when you think of it, but the Call of Duty series always played second fiddle to the Medal of Honor series, because when everybody thinks about those awesome moments in World War II games, the going ashore on Omaha Beach on D-Day, that was Medal of Honor, not Call of Duty. Call of Duty was always seen as the rip-off of Medal of Honor. I mean, it was a very, very good rip-off, but Medal of Honor got there first. You know, they set the standard by which the Call of Duty games were measured. When Call of Duty came out, they couldn't really do the Omaha landing because Medal of Honor had done that, so they did the US Ranger assault on the Point-to-Hoc artillery emplacement, which was quite tragic. 2 battalions of Rangers were given the job on D-Day of knocking out these gun emplacements on cliffs overlooking the landing beaches, but for various different reasons, only half of the Rangers actually made it to their objective, but they went ahead and assaulted the cliffs anyway. These were vertical cliffs, like 100 feet high, which they climbed and got to the top, suffered horrendous casualties, only to find that the 155mm guns, which Air Force reconnaissance had assured them were there, were not actually there and had been moved inland like a week earlier. So that's how Call of Duty did D-Day. It's funny if you look at the timings, because like Saving Private Ryan came out with that absolutely harrowing Omaha Beach assault in the first 20 minutes of the movie. And then, lo and behold, Medal of Honor Allied Assault. basically recreated exactly the same thing. And then Call of Duty arrived on the scene and said, right, what can we do? So they did the point-to-hoc US Army Ranger assault. And then Band of Brothers came out, the HBO miniseries, and oh, lo and behold, Medal of Honor Airborne. Almost exactly the same as the first couple of episodes of Band of Brothers. And what did Call of Duty do? They started shopping around for other things to emulate. Does anybody remember the movie Enemy at the Gates? The movie about Vasily Zaitsev, the Soviet sniper in the Eastern Front, World War II? The movie starts with Zaitsev getting off a train along with a whole bunch of other Russian conscripts and being put aboard a boat to ferry him across the Volga to Stalingrad. And halfway across, they get attacked by Stuka dive bombers. People trying to jump out of the boat, and then the commissars start shooting the guys in the water for deserting, and so on and so on. They get to the western bank of the Volga, and they're there in Stalingrad. And the first man in line is given a rifle and a clip of ammo. The second man in line is just given a clip of ammo. And like, you know, when the man in front of you falls, pick up his rifle, and so on and so on. And then they're marched off to assault a heavily fortified German position. Yeah, they've got machine guns, they've got automatic weapons, they've got tanks, they've got anti-tank guns, they've got everything just lined up, waiting for the Russians. The commissars position machine guns behind them, not one step back, and just send this human wave of conscripts in, and they get mown down by the Germans, and then people try to retreat, and they get mown down by the commissars for, you know, retreating. And then there you are, lying in a pile of bodies inside a dry fountain with your rifle, and there's a couple of German officers and soldiers on the other side of the square, and there's, you know, stuff going on, and you have to use the rifle to take out the Germans using the sound of the explosions and what have you going on around the city to mask your shot, to try to kill us, because it's only a bolt-action rifle. You know, there's half a dozen Germans, and some of them have MP40 machine pistols. So anyway, what happens in the next Call of Duty game? Exactly the same thing. They may as well have taken the script of Enemy at the Gates and said, right, this is our game. Now, it didn't make it a bad game. It was, in fact, a very, very good game. But at some point, you know, they've got to stop copying other things. And that's exactly what they did. Because it was with the next major game that Call of Duty series really found its feet and set itself apart from the Medal of Honor series. And where the Medal of Honor series started to go astray, that of course was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There were some absolutely amazing gameplay moments in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games. Does anybody remember the... Well, you could pick just about any of the levels in the original Modern Warfare game, and somebody's going to remember it as a classic from the original opening sequence where you're inserted as part of an SBS team on board a freighter that's believed to be carrying something nasty, and then all hell breaks loose. And then there's the sniper level in Pripyat where there's just you and Captain Price. Pripyat, by the way, is a Soviet town that was evacuated when Chernobyl went up. The entire city's deserted. Even 30 years on, nobody lives there. It's just a ghost town. And you're crawling your way through a cornfield with your ghillie suit on when there's an armoured patrol, armoured personnel carriers, infantry, everything, coming the other way, and you're just praying they don't see you. And then, of course, the American campaign, which culminates when you get nuked. I mean, they actually kill off one of the characters. Something that had never been done in a game of this type up until that point. I'll tell you what, Call of Duty World War II, it better be damn good. It's got a lot to live up to. I'm sure it is going to be good, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it, even though I'm going to hate myself for giving money to Electronic Arts and buying it. But they do make good games. You've got to, you know, credit where credit's due. Okay, you know, Mass Effect Andromeda notwithstanding, it didn't do very well and wasn't actually very good. But the Call of Duty series has always been a good series of games. Ridiculously overpriced since Electronic Arts bought them up, but they've been good. And I'm not going to go so far as to say they were worth the money, but they were good. Anyway, I think that's about it for this week's episode of Mingles by Jingles. There was more I wanted to talk about, but I'm running out of time, and I'm running out of background footage to play while I'm talking, so we're going to knock it on the head there. I hope you had a good weekend. But forget it, because now it's Monday. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.